Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 388. This is our recap and review of Lucifer 2x16, God Johnson. We are going to get super spoilery on it, so, I don't know, beware or something if you haven't seen it and you don't want to know. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
And to recap, Lucifer decides he's met his father after watching him heal a woman from near death. He changes his revenge scheme to bringing God Johnson and his mother together again, which would torture them both, but plans are changed when Lucifer and God go back to the Asylum. This week's killer drugs and kidnaps them and succeeds in letting God get Lucifer an apology before losing his belt buckle and becoming human again. Turns out Lucifer is more peeved than ever, and one of the two pieces he needs to make Azrael's sword work was the buckle. Feedback. Again, only one feedback for this episode. Chuckabutt on Instagram says, "Whoa!" And I know what she means. This was a good episode.
Yeah, I don't get to say this very often, but good work. If this was what the show was doing the entire time, I'd be really hyped about it.
Yeah.
Short of the title. They need to work on their titles. God Johnson is just silly.
I like that. No, the concept of the show, like, it's still silly. It's still such a silly concept. Like, as far as like, oh, look, he's gonna stumble upon, this guy with God's belt buckle and just stumble upon this piece of the puzzle that he's looking for with this case. I hate that. It's so dumb. It was a pretty good episode.
Well, that isn't so weird. I mean, I've faced much stranger things in my suspension of disbelief than like a guy buys a belt buckle. Now, the thing I'd like to know is like who had it before and did they wear it, and I'd like to see the history of that belt buckle. Mm-hmm. Like, I would like to see. Oh, actually, it'd be fun is if they tied since Mormonism and Scientology are such a recent religion. It'd be fun if they tied those in with the belt buckle. Mm-hmm. And you could do it. You could definitely do it.
Yes. So please, Fox, give us a spinoff called Buckle.
Well, I mean, you can include like a quick study of like I think it'd be a Menadil that would go back and say like, what happened before, and do like a quick piece of exposition that would tie everything in. Yeah,
it's like Quantum Leap meets the belt buckle from Lucifer.
Right.
Like so a guy gets it or a gal, whatever. Somebody. Don't want to be exclusionary here.
Well, in those two
gets
particulars, it was guys.
And
we got John Smith and L. Ron Hubbard here.
And becomes some version of God every episode, and it's just it's like someone puts on the belt buckle, they become God for a second, and they look around and go, "Oh my me," and
save the day. I really do like the idea. Like, there's a connector that I really hope we find that whatever the connector is between these two pieces. I pray we don't just find that on the last episode where it's like, season finale. He has the blade.
Well, next week they say the key is somehow with the victim.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
The third piece.
Thank goodness. I just don't want to like,
huh?
Yeah.
2 in a row. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, like the tie-in between L.A. homicide and celestial battle, we're just gonna have to deal with that. Even on a good episode, we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that is a thing. But there was still some seriously meaty stuff that was happening this episode that I was very happy with. I mean,
by the way, if they will just say something like, "Oh, because Chloe is a thing that like a miracle child, celestial things are drawn to her and things around."
No, that'd be fantastic. Blah, blah, blah. If it really was like
Chloe, our own little hellmouth.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That would be fantastic. Not sure they're going to do it. Now, I did enjoy several things about it, like how many people punched God in the face or need him in the nuts. That cracked me up every time. Actually, I laughed my ass off when Lucifer tries to use his power on this guy, and it's just a staring contest. I'm really good at those. That was good. And I got to give props to, I don't know if it's cinematography or direction here. Probably a close combination here. But that slow motion scene of them walking through the inmates with all the feathers happening and all the chaos and like the look on Tom Ellis's face, just enjoying the chaos. That was just a well shot scene, just plain well done.
That was well done. It absolutely was. I loved all the Joan Osborne references.
Yeah, and there were a lot of like little lines that kind of give you some backstory to the celestial thing we're talking about. Like, all right, it's like Mom at some point says, "I suppose I to this guy, I suppose I should apologize for trying to destroy your precious toy with floods and plagues and whatnot." So apparently, like a fair amount of the Old Testament was her.
Yeah, they've mentioned that before.
I didn't realize she was the yeah, they mentioned that before, but I I didn't realize she was so like directly involved with being like, and you know, there really is a difference between like Old and New Testament. Like they read very differently. You know, I like the idea that they're like facing and kind of dichotomizing between and making it part of a relationship. You know, it's a cool concept. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know the line that made me laugh the most though, entire episode.
Oh, probably he sends an emissary like me or a burning bush.
No, that one did. I got a good chuckle out of that. Got a really good chuckle out of that. But it was actually Aminadel looking at the doctor and just saying, "I like the shape of your head."
I have that one written down.
It was just so weird, and Woodside is so fucking good.
Yeah. Okay, I knew it was okay. My favorite line.
He's an American Idris Elba, man. I mean, that guy is capable of so much more
than this stupid show. Yeah.
Yes. Put him in everything from now on. And Idris has a great American accent. Screw that. Just grab Woodside instead.
Yeah. So I knew it was a setup line
to
make us think for a second that he was the murderer, but the old dude, when they're all sitting there playing like imaginary poker, and he goes, "I swear I am gonna stab you in the eye if you don't stop dealing me crap."
It was just a funny setup, like a fake poker game.
I did love the Lucifer line. Maze is like one of those little birds that imprints on whoever's near.
That was good. Oh, I actually liked early on in the episode when he was trying to get admitted. Well, we can't admit you unless you're a danger, and he just grabs him and pulls him to the thing. How's that? Great. Lovely.
Yeah.
That one made me laugh a little bit. They are pushing the like Maze and Aminadel thing a little bit now. They laid off it for a while. And they've kind of come back and started pushing it a little bit.
I think they realize that they don't really have anything for those two to do.
So we're going to couple them up.
Well, I mean, why not?
I mean, they have plenty they can do. Like the neat part about this episode was, I mean, Aminadel assumed Lucifer would tell her about his plan, but that's kind of one of those things where like me and you bitch about the CW shows for like, oh my god, I can't believe you didn't tell me this, keeping secrets, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, at least Lucifer as a show doesn't use that too often. In all fairness, Lucifer prides himself on the fact that he never lies, and Chloe being an idiot aside and not like accepting who he really is, like he just talks about God as his father all the time. And never thinks twice about it. And she just rolls with it. But
sure,
but she's got like this little secondary dialogue to herself, I guess. But yeah, man, I mean, like at least the show does that. They don't keep secrets. So this is the first time where like I've gotten on. I feel like I should get onto the show for like, oh man, come on, we're doing the "you kept a secret" story.
Yeah, I can't actually honestly keep track of what people know on Lucifer.
It depends on the episode. Assume they know nothing and just go from there. That's how I'd watch an episode of Lucifer if I was just doing it dry.
Well, I mean, Lucifer's like, "Oh, but detective, I am the devil," and she's like, "Nah, all right, no, you're not." He's like, "Very well." I don't know. It's just how do you not know he's the devil at this point, Chloe?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now, one great tie-in is Uriel's "The Pieces Here."
Mm-hmm.
That was just well done. That as a show, setting us up several episodes ago with what I mean, we review all these. We said that was actually a really damn good episode when Uriel came back.
Mm-hmm.
The Pieces Here was relevant apparently. Like that was a good setup.
Yeah.
I was kind of proud of them. I didn't know they had that in them.
I do. I sincerely hope they get away from this awful crime of the week thing. The procedural aspect of it. Like,
we've hoped that for some time.
Hook people into it, then slowly do away with it.
Yeah.
It's time to do away with it.
Yeah. Shows have done that before, where like you hook them. I mean, Buffy, for instance, was very procedural to start. And as it progressed, it became very serialized. Angel, same thing. They started that way. They serialized it. It became about the characters themselves, not whatever was happening that week. Like, literally, one of the reasons Monster of the Week became a household, it's not quite household, but, a popular term is because of those shows. I mean, you can progress past it, though, and I really hope they do. This particular episode showed so much potential.
Yeah.
And still, there were a couple lines, though, that I'm going to bring up. Like,
sure.
That were just kind of touching. Like, God Johnson, I'll call him. Truth is, I can't even remember why I was so angry to begin with. For what it's worth, I'm so sorry. I truly am. And I'm proud of you, Samael. I'm proud of the man you become. Like, the look on Tom Ellis's face, even drugged up after that line. And the fact that he got to hear it, but then you parlay it with him telling the human version of that guy, I'm bloody furious because I realized my father would never say those things to me, and for that, I hate him all the more. Mm-hmm. That was fantastic. That was just a good turn.
As good as turns you can get. I mean, with what they gave us, because, I mean, I legitimately was sad that dude wasn't God. You know what I mean?
Oh, I really, I was hoping they had really introduced him, and he did a good job, and
he did.
I've seen that guy be extremely goofy. Like, I remember him from Psych. He was just a goofy dude, like a side character that didn't matter much. And then I saw him here and thought, you can pull off, like, father of all things? Shit. All right. Good job.
Right.
I was surprised, but impressed.
Well, if Alanis Morissette could do it.
Yeah. She actually did a pretty good job, too. Just wordlessly floating about, exploding heads. Oh, I did like the backstory of him explaining there was nothing, just darkness. Then she appeared. It did not take long for us to light up the universe. Okay, that's cool. Getting some ex nihilo. But a lot of Lucifer talking to him is this is who you made me when you cast me away. Now I apologize. All of the red-eyed talking to his dad kind of stuff was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, all the stuff with Linda, curtsying and stuff.
Oh, the curtsy. And my favorite part was actually when she's hyperventilating in a bag after she meets. That was maybe my favorite part. I have a favorite line, but that was maybe my favorite visual of the episode.
Yeah, she's like, should I bow? Should I curtsy? I'd spit in his face. I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that. Yeah. She's probably the best pure comedic actor on the show,
Yeah. So, I think that's all I got.
That's all I got to. It's the most I've had to say about Lucifer in a while, man. I mean, it was a good episode.
It was. You can find every episode of DC On Screen at dconscreen.com. Hit us up on Twitter, DC On Screen, one word. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. DC On Screen. 205-259-6331 if you want to leave us a voicemail. We've actually gotten a fair amount of voicemails this week.
Cool.
So that'll show up on the news episodes. And we're going to be coming back with Supergirl 221 Resist. Until then, guys, keep some DC on your screen.